All right, all right, all right. Man, I had this on my radar. And I'm like, I gotta remember to tell people. And I think I mentioned at one point, I think on Monday, I'm like, oh yeah, we don't have the Market Friday. But I just never sent the email anyway. If you're listening to the recording and you didn't get the message, my apologies. I will do better. With establishing a routine for market closures. We've done pretty well so far because it's usually on a Monday and we're like, oh, we'll skip and we'll just meet on Tuesday morning. I don't know why this one threw me off. Anyway, those of you who made it, glad you made it. Hopefully you either got the email and or the message via Discord. Sandra's here. She's the furthest away. So if she made it, I have to think the messaging got at least close. Anyway, yeah. So tomorrow, the Veterans Day market will be closed. This is our weekly market wrap. Interesting week. Interesting meaning nothing really happened, right? Didn't really get any astounding news. Nothing really moved. It is just kind of a push. I have to imagine maybe the score improves, if anything, but I got to think our market posture won't change much. I got to think you didn't trade much. Did you guys trade much this week? Did you put a lot on? Did you feel compelled to trade? Let me know. But other than that, officially welcome out Market Watch Group weekly market wrap Thursday instead of Friday. I am Scott. I will host. Here are the disclaimers. As usual, here is our agenda. Market analysis. We'll see what the market did. We're still just kind of grinding along. Nothing, but nothing. Perry said, "Yeah, I get it, man. It's like, is it lulling us? Do we need to be patient? Do we need to be ready? What are we looking for next here? I'm still looking for buyers, but I'm still looking for a consolidate. I'm still looking to see. I have to assess something, right? The sellers have to at least try a little bit. We'll revisit market posture. We kind of talked about that a little bit already this week, just yesterday because it was Wednesday. Mindset for any trades now. It's even especially now different, right? Imagine if you had a bullish trade that you held. What's it done? Probably nothing. It hasn't gone wrong. It's probably moved up a teeny little bit, and it's like you gain from the movement up, but you lose from the time decay, and you're just kind of, well, now you've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Now you got this extra bit of time for news, for things to happen. We are already kind of feeling like we're at a resistance level. They're hard. These are hard decisions sometimes. I would expect you've sold at least half. If you are carrying something bullish, I would expect you've already locked some gains in. Maybe you do the same thing. Sell half of what's left. Carry what's remaining. Maybe you sell it all. Maybe you carry it all. You'll find the path that's comfortable for you, but you want to have a clear idea of what you're doing for any trade that you're going to hold over the weekend and why. What are we thinking about for next week? Honestly, what I'm looking for next week's exactly what I was looking for this week. Looking for a consolidation, looking to see a number of potential bullish trades, pullback set up. What just happened? Oh, there we go. We will look at our watch list and see there are some things that are setting up, some things that are still just pushing up in an overbought situation. So, and trading plan progress section of the week. We'll talk about that. Okay, let me get my charts. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let me get my charts up here. Did anyone have a hard time getting in? I swear I saw a name of someone that I was expecting to be here. But they, I'm wondering if anyone joined like the wrong link or something along those lines. Okay. Yeah, whoa, you can really see it now. This is really kicked into gear here since right around the lunchtime, right? We came back. Did someone speak? Right at 11 o'clock? Who spoke at 11? Somebody did something at 11. Let's figure it out. If you know, let me know. What happened at 11 o'clock today? Today's the 9th. Ooh, do you think it was Tom Barkin that did it? I can't imagine Tom doing something like that. Fed sold bonds and startled the markets. Great. Honestly, I don't care that much. Here's why. I want this pullback. That's a great bearish engulfing pattern. We started stronger. I think we're all thinking the same thing. Like, what the hell are the buyers looking at right now? That this is sort of meandered higher 3 straight days, just meandering on very low volume. The good news about this first day was the volume didn't accelerate on this big bearish engulfing. It stayed the same. Sitting around 60 million. That's not a lot of sellers. 60 million. Great. Now what? Now we're going to see. This. You can see we've crossed now. At this point, you're lower than you were on Friday's close. This is what I say to people. Like, it feels like, oh, I should let my winner run. What would you have gotten? 3-4 extra days if the time works against you, and now you're lower than you were if you waited till end of day to get out. That's why getting out on Friday is like, yeah, man, I'm done. All the rest of this noise, there's not a lot of, you're fighting for scraps. I'm not interested in that. I got the swing I wanted. Now what? Well, now I'm getting the selling cycle swing. What are we watching for? Are the candles going to get bigger as it drops? That would tend to lead us to think the selling is escalating. Or are the candles getting smaller as it drops? Is the volume accelerating? Does it get above average, or does it stay below? Does it stay low? I want to assess the sellers, because if the sellers only push it back for 2 or 3 days and it's down around this level on average volume halfway through next week, that's our window. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. What's the let me know if you have any questions. Let's look what the VIX thinks about today. Is the VIX in a panic? Right? Does this tell us that the institutions are like, oh God, what's happening? What do you think? Doesn't look panicky to me. Right? So same kind of a thing. As we assess the size of the candle, as we assess the volume, we're going to assess the sentiment behind it, the hidden sentiment. And if this thing just kind of meanders up a little bit and starts to stall out around 16, 17, and oh yeah, that's for me great bullish confirmation that the institutions are feeling great. They're ready to buy. We could see 2 very strong buying windows here still. So as far as, right, doesn't it? Sandra said, it looks like it's on. I'm telling you, this is everything that we've been talking about, that we've been looking for. Could it change? Of course. It could start to accelerate, and we'd be like, wait a second, we'll be a little more suspicious. But as of right now, I am looking for the pullback. As you'll see here, we have numbers of good-looking stocks just now moving into these buyable positions. Great. Let's trade. We see it in technology, both software and semiconductors in the chips. We see it in consumer discretionary, both retail and travel. We see it in communication services. We see it in industrials. We're seeing it in financials, particularly insurance and credit. Starting to see it in banks and brokers. That's broad. You'll always have naysayers who are like, it's only the big 7. That's always going to start us. Always. That's nonsense to think what are you going to be like, oh, just these 7 arbitrary stocks are up. Do you think the rest of the market will follow? No. That's my answer. No. Every time. Nope. The market's not going to follow those 7 stocks. The market follows these 7 stocks. Follows it up, follows it down. just be comfortable with that. Okay. Volume today, we still have a half an hour. So it's going to be more than the buying volume. And so that's not a concern to me. This volume was meaningless anyways. All I care about, does it get to even to average? As long as it stays below average, I don't care. All of this prior volume is going to start dropping off. My most recent volume was buying volume. So I'm going to live with this. Fine. As far as the posture goes, you can see that some people will be like, look, Scott, this is higher than any of these points. That's a higher high. I'm leaving it as a same high, right? You can see it's at the same level. I'm not going to be like, oh, we were 7 cents higher, therefore it's a higher high. Visually, what does it look like to you? A higher high or a same high? If you think it looks like a higher high, then yeah, give it a 1/4 point for that. I don't. I see it as the same high. I'm not going to score that up. When we look at the weekly chart, nothing there. Stays the same. Volume stays the same. There wasn't a single above average volume day. The VIX stays the same. All we did was drop back right where we started the week. Nothing happened in here. So my volume maybe gets a little better. Major market maybe gets a little better. We'll see. At most, I would say my score is going to be, I would say 1.5 if I had to guess. It's either going to stay the same or go to 1.5. All right. So I'm still bullish from a market posture. Well, slightly bullish. We'll say bullish end of neutral. More bullish than not. I'm definitely looking at the bullish momentum. What else? What's my trading posture? My trading posture is still more neutral because we're waiting for things. This is just barely starting to make this roll over and pull back. Right now, we don't know. Is it going to be 3 days, 5 days, 7 days? What does this selling cycle look like? We're looking for it here. We're on day 2. Adobe gave us the first sign yesterday. Second sign today. You can see it's crossing. Great. Is it going to come down to this old high? Is it going to dip even further down into this area? Is it going to go all the way down? I mean, what do we have? That's what we're looking for. Across the board. Every one of these. What is this? It's overbought. It's at resistance, and it's starting to come back down. Some of these, you still have earnings. You don't have a lot of time. If this pulls back for 2 days next week and turns, maybe you would still have the ability, or maybe you would say, you know what, I'm going to go look at Gap. Or I'm going to go look at some other retail stock that mimics the strength that we've seen from AEO. Aflac is like if it was a better market and I was feeling anticipatory, I would say I would take a signal like that. You got a little bit of a pinch, 3 days down, starting to turn. This is kind of flat. That would be something I would be thinking about. And if I wait, I might actually wait and get a Heiken Ashi confirmation on Monday and say, hey, as long as this thing gets above 81.25, I'm getting in. My stop loss will be at $80. I'm only taking $1.25 a risk. I should be able to get $5 to the upside. 5 from here, 85 target, 375, $1.75. Yeah, I think Aflac is right on the doorstep. Right on the doorstep. You can see that today it's buyers, and look at the volume. So few. That's where it's like, do you want to wait? Do you want to take it now? I think you could wait for some confirmation. What would I possibly do while I'm looking for that confirmation? I could come down to a 2-hour chart on Monday, and I could say, all right. On a 2-hour chart, you can see the same kind of a pattern that we have a tendency to look for, right? You can see we had this consolidation, and then it kind of busted it. Pop. Well, now what? Well, now what I'm thinking is, hey, if this thing is we can see pinching over here. If this is going to come down and do this, and this is going to come down here and then turn around 80.5. Maybe I can catch it there, put my stop loss right there, and that's my trade. We have the ability to refine entries and exits by zooming in a little bit. 2-hour chart, maybe even a 1-hour chart, where you say to yourself, hey, as soon as this goes, you can see it on the 1-hour. It looks very close. It broke out, got to this point. Now it's pulling back. Does it keep coming down, or is this it? So you might decide I'm going on the first up candle. So if it does this, I'm in. Stop loss right underneath. There's my trade right there. My target, 85. So if I can get in this thing by this level down here around 81.20, 81.25, that's a $1.25 of risk for another 375 to the upside, 3-1. Okay. Yeah, we're starting to see the signs, right? We're starting to show up. Let's keep going. AIG, not as good. It earlier was, but it's pulled back. So you might say, I like AIG better, and I'm going to wait for an extra day for that thing to turn. Great. Plan's a plan. What am I doing with AMD? Still watching it. Yeah, it's just kind of grinding. Needs to pull back all the way to 103 if necessary, but definitely I'm looking for a pullback there. Amazon, day 2. Amazon is beautiful for us. We love it. I love it. Pulling back. It can pull all the way back to 133 for me. Right? All the way back here, stabilize. I'm ready for that turn. On the list, now it's setting up. It's no longer like, now it's like the sellers are here, which means this. It could be 3 days, and then it turns. 3 days. What would that be? A bull flag. Right? Where if I have another candle like this on this day, this is my pull. This is my flag. If I break the flag, that's my entry. Entry, stop below. What am I looking for? Theoretically, you're looking for the pull again. That's big. That's big, but I would definitely be looking for something up in this area. Yeah. If you've never looked into it, just Google bull flags. You'll see exactly about them. A book for your library. Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets by John Murphy. Technical Analysis. It's an expensive one. Right? It's like an $80 Amazon book. It's a beautiful book. It's in my opinion, the best of the books that they use for the CMT exam, Chartered Market Technician. It's on that curriculum. Real strong candlestick info, indicator info. I mean, there's just it's a wide range. It's a great resource to have. But it goes into these, patterns, things like that. Okay. APH, nothing there yet. That's just kind of still overextended. Same with Asana's pulled back. That's a big pullback, but small volume. As long as it doesn't break below 18, I'm okay with that. If it just smashes down here and all of a sudden it's down at 17.20 and it's at a low, I'll probably be like, yeah, I'm a pass. I didn't like the way the sellers just came crashing through that. Capital One, you can see this is why we wait. It looked like it was going to maybe stall some dojis and then it just engulfed, but that's fine. This is day 4 now of Capital One having the selling window open. Look at it back here. This is where that selling window opened. What's happening? The volume is diminishing. We don't seem to really be dropping very much at all. I think Capital One looks very strong for a financial stock. This is definitely on my watch list. Did we look at the others in this vein, in this group? Visa you could look at. That looks very similar. Let's put Visa on our list. I would imagine MasterCard, MA. MasterCard, pretty strong. It hasn't pulled back as much. AXP, American Express, same kind of a structure. So you take your pick. We'll go with Capital One and Visa. Capital One and Visa. Oil, nothing there for me. Copart, industrial. I like it. I'd be willing to. It's a big, nice V pattern. If it almost like a cup and handle. If we get a handle, the handle would have to be like living inside of this, probably this 38% retracement level. So let's see. But this needs a pullback. CrowdStrike starting to pull back. Great. Does it get there in time to make a trade before earnings? I think it will. Dell starting to pull back. DHI. It's a high flyer, but still starting to pull back, You see the theme? Some things are still pushing up against highs. This thing is still at a 5-day high, pinching on the stochastics, expecting and waiting for a pullback. So right now, most things have either pulled back. We have a few things that were ahead of the group, a lot of things that are starting to pull back, and then a few things that are still just pushing highs. Gold looks like it's trying to find a higher low. There's Google. What is it doing? Starting this pullback. Look at its volume. Great. Gap already on day 4 now. Does it have time? It's less and less looks like it will. IBM starting to pull back. Fantastic. Starting to day 2. Great. Be patient. Day 4. Be patient. Big candle, not big volume. So I'm less concerned about that. As long as it slows down, I would like to see this thing not go past the gap. So it doesn't have much more room before it really needs to find that support level. Here's Meta. Meta is one of those that's right at the tippity top. Be patient. We got to be patient. Day 1. Day nothing. It's just right at the highs. Now you're at day 4, and is it today, before or after? After. Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll see what News Corp reports for earnings. And if we're still interested in considering it after this. PDD waiting for a consolidation. Really strong resistance here at 110. 111 for PDD. PGR looks somewhat bullish. Here's PLTR. It's now on the 3rd, maybe 4th day of this consolidation. I'm okay if it fills this gap, but not if it goes more than like about halfway, right around 16. Probably more like there. I'd like to see it find support by 1685, barely into the gap. QQQ. Yeah, day 1. Could be 3 days, 4 days. We don't know. We'll be patient. RCL, same thing, pulling back. Starbucks pulling back. All of these are good. This is all we could ask for, is eventually it's going to pull back. When it does, we're going to assess it. Is it getting stronger or weaker on the pullback? Are there big candles or little candles? Big getting smaller, small getting bigger, small staying small, big staying big. Is the volume increasing, decreasing? We want to understand now the sentiment better going forward. That's what we're going to be looking to gain as we analyze these things. SMCI, it's a maybe. There's the SPY. It's at or near the low for the day. We've engulfed. Looks like we got all 3 of these days. Low 433.68. We're at 433.63. So yeah, right now we've engulfed these 3 previous days. It's not a ton of volume though. It's not like, oh my God, look at all the sellers. We should not be panicking in any stretch here. If anyone, I know there was a few people who had bearish trades. Did you last? Was it too much? Did today, if you did hold, did today give you much recovery? Are you going to hold through the weekend? I hate when it still happens, right? You just kind of get caught holding something and you're like, now I just got to do the best I can. It's always a little harder making the decisions that way, but let's see. Tesla. So I think Tesla's a lower low. Like I didn't see that as enough. I mean, I guess it did. Recovering some losses. Nice to see some green. There you go. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And it's not like holding on because you hope, right? You hold on because there's a reason to. Because you're like, well, the last thing I want to do is like lose my nerve at resistance. I don't want to hold on to it all the way to resistance and be like, oh, I can't stand it anymore. Then you get out and then it hits resistance and bounces back down. You're like, well, yeah. Does it sometimes take longer than we want? I would say it always takes longer than I want. That's an argument that can be made for Tesla. If Tesla doesn't come all the way back, if Tesla stabilizes maybe somewhere inside of this box and turns, yeah, I'd say that's a maybe for me. Tesla, it's a cult stock. People love trading it. People love it. Here's Visa. Looks great. Big selling day without a lot of, look at that volume. Average is 5.7. We're at 3 million. It looks nasty, but it really is just kind of like, look, the buyers just did a full smash and grab. What do you think? They're just going to be loitering around, hanging out? No. They're counting their money back at home, catching their breath. So it was pretty easy to push it down today. Look at the last 2 days. The evidence was already there. The buyers were done. Yeah, great. Then the profit takers finally pushed too much, and it's like, okay, so do we see a few more take some profit? When does it start to stabilize and turn? And as we see that across the board on these different stocks, look what we have. I mean, we've got chips, software, we've got technology, we've got discretionary leaders like Amazon, PDD, we've got some retail, some travel, industrial. I mean, everything. It's broad-based, right? It's broad-based. Any concerns? What are your concerns this week? I mostly have seen people talking about recovering and things going well over the last couple of weeks. I'm hoping you didn't have to recover much. I think everybody struggled in August and September. If someone were like, oh, I had a great August and September, I'd be like, show me the receipts or I call bullshit. Yeah. Okay, what else? Visa. Here's the VIX again. Even now, as we're at the lows. You know, it's fine. It's not really showing too much. Okay. Okay. WMB close. If there was an energy slash, oil energy that I would be, thinking about, this would be it. WMB still looks quite strong. Walmart, it looks okay. I don't think you're going to have time. That's before market. Right? That's before market on the 16th. So that really gives you the 15th. That's Wednesday. Today is the end of the week. So if on Monday we get another doji and then on Tuesday you get a signal, that gives you 1 day. 1 day. I don't know. Costco maybe as an alternative. A defensive consumer staple, something like that. I think so. Let's put it on our list. What do you think? Costco. They put one in maybe 5 minutes from my house within the last few years. Oh, I love it. And now there's a liquor store. In Utah, they control liquor weird ways. You have to get liquor. You can get beer. It's terrible beer. You can get beer at the grocery store. Wine and liquor, you have to get from state liquor stores. But there's a state liquor store too. Oh, my life is complete just down the hill. Everything I need, a Home Depot, a Costco, and a liquor store. Energy. Energy does not look good, which is great. That helps the Fed case for no more rate hikes to see energy concerns ease out of the inflationary picture. That's a remnant, right? That's where it felt like we were back to old times of higher oil and gas. And if we can see this ease up and stay down, that'll certainly help the case in regards to inflation and letting the Fed leave things alone from this point. That would be great. Financials. There's the start of the pullback. All of these pullbacks look exactly how we would want. Mild. The candles can be big, or at least bigger, as long as the volume is not. None of this is acceleration. None of this is happening as volume increases. So we look at this and think, yeah, that's pretty normal, pretty standard. Okay. Did I get them all? No. Yes, I did. Let's talk about the trading plan. So you should have been working on section 2. You should be strong now in your routines, in describing your posture, your trading posture, and having an ongoing sense of these. And like right now, if I was like, hey, how long would you expect bullish trades to last? Or, are you still taking bearish trades? Or how much risk are you taking one way or the other? Are you gonna take profit again? That would be a question. If someone's like, oh, Scott, last time you sold half after 2 days, would you do that again now? No. No, I would not. Because now I have more strength. Now I might go down to a third or a quarter of take profit. And it might be on 3 days instead of 2 days or 4 days, where it's like, yeah, okay, we have a little more strength, a little more conviction in this market. So let's let it get a little further. When we sell it, let's sell a little less. Still going to tighten my stop. Still going to hold on to the rest of it from there. But yeah, those are subtle changes in your risk management, the length of your trades, your risk management adjustments, your strategies, your trade management, hedging. Are we close to hedging right now? No, not even close, right? The VIX, there's a couple of things that would make me hedge right now. Number one, if I saw a surge in the Dow and a drop in the in the IWM and the NASDAQ, if I saw a quick alignment defensively, that would probably make me hedge. Especially because we've seen a lot of recovery from technology starting to push. So yeah, if all of a sudden I saw technology drop, I saw the blue chips move, I would probably hedge that. If it comes to the VIX, I'm going to be a little bit more strategic about it. And here's the tough thing. There's no clear consolidation line right now. So for example, back here, there was a consolidation line that I did not do a trade down here because that was a lower low down here, right? But I did do a trade here because that broke the consolidation. I don't really have a consolidation line here. I can't really say that's the consolidation because if it does this the next day, is that a break or is that just still trying to find, where this thing is done? Then I can say now I have a consolidation. So if it were to, well, at this point, if it drops, I got to switch the type of tool. At this point, if it drops down into here, that would be a higher low, and then that would be a break. And so that might generate 2 hedges in a row. Right now, I have nothing. There's nothing here that is scary. This looks very strong. The question is, do we do something like this back here where it goes and then it pops up a little, then drops again and pops a little, and then it generally stays. That was a great time back there. What started that? Late May gave us June and July. June and July were great. You can see that late May and early November look very similar. So that's what I'm looking for right there. As far as your, would you sell a COF put, take a loss, or wait it out, hoping for a pullback? Okay, let me get to that. Finish up your market posture because next week we're moving on to trading rules. COF. I mean, at this point, I would still, like, you can see that you're in the downward cycle. If you're in a put right now, I would stay with it. I don't even know if we have enough Heiken Ashi to go negative on these things yet, but you're hoping you catch one more red one and then you get one of these that you can stay with as long as it keeps dropping. Yeah, it looks strong, right? That's the point. That's why we're saying, but I would say the fact that you have a red bearish engulfing candle, the fact that your stochastics is in its downward point, I'd stick with it. I just wouldn't expect too much. Next week, if it at all looks like it's going to start turning the other way, I would just be like, I'm done here. Take that loss, move on. Questions, comments, concerns? How's everyone feeling? Anyone got big plans? Veterans Day, I got to do some yard work. I got in-laws apparently coming for Thanksgiving, so I got some yard work to do. And my kids are coming home for Thanksgiving. That'll be exciting. No holiday in Australia. That's right. Back to the grind in Australia. Do you guys do a Thanksgiving? I know in Canada they do. It was in October, I think. I know there's like 13 countries that celebrate some variation of Thanksgiving. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we are still meeting in about, what would the time be? 4 hours and 30 minutes. In 4 hours and 30 minutes, we are going to meet and talk about analytics. So we'll talk about the dashboard from the trade log, and we'll talk about just some of our mindset for that. Okay, it's good to see everybody. I'm glad I could get the message out to a few of you. Of those of you who missed this, I apologize. The holiday threw it off, but you'll have the recording, and you'll be able to at least get a sense of what we were talking about. We will see you we'll see you tonight, maybe, or we'll see you on Sunday for our regular market posture, market prep. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And as always, happy trading.